Alright, so I hope everyone's doing good today. About 4 or 5 days ago, Atzer sent me their L2 36 watt laser engraver slash cutter. And if you've seen my other videos on my atom stack, that's a 20 watt laser engraver. And I've been very impressed with it. Well, this is a 36 watt. So I have not taken this out of the box yet. I just cut the packing tape. So we're going to go through this together, and then I'm going to do a real quick assembly. I'm going to probably time lapse that so you don't have to sit through that, and then we're going to give this thing a try. So we got a nice installation manual, looks like. What's this card? Okay, this is the air assist. Is you can manually use it, or you can use it in auto mode. So you can set the settings up in light burn to where the air assist will come on and off as needed. My atom stack's manual only. You turn it on, you leave it on. And then you've got a nice user guide here, which is nice and big, got plenty of pictures. This unit does come with a 1-year warranty, which I thought was good. And this is just for stainless steel plate. At least I think it's stainless steel. You put that underneath whatever you're cutting. That way you don't cut through your kitchen table. And everything looks really packed good. Now, I was very impressed with how much this thing weighed. When I picked it up, when they dropped it off and I picked it up, I was like, what all they got in this thing? I mean, it's 30 pounds was the total weight of this. I actually put it on the scale just to weigh it. So I'm going to pull this thing out and kind of set it out on the table so that we can take a good look at it together. So as you can see, everything's laser cut and fit in its own little pocket, so you're not going to have to worry about anything getting damaged during shipping. This thing's going to be able to take pretty good abuse. Anyway, let me get this taken out, and we're going to take a look at this. Alright, so of course you do get your laser glasses. The one quick thing I like about it is the air assist is actually smaller than what it is on my atom stack. So that's nice. And I mean, it looks like it's going to be very easy to put together. The belts are already on, so you don't have to fish through belts and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, let me kind of show you what you get here. Got a pretty good sized brick here for the power. And the finish, and as you can see, this is all extruded aluminum housing. The finish on it's real nice. It's kind of a, I don't know what it might be, like I think it's anodized, because it's completely finished on the inside too, the same finish. So I think this is completely anodized. .410 by 410 millimeter work area, so a little bit bigger than what my atom stack is able to do. The feet are rubber, and they do sell the extensions so that you can set this up higher. And of course, it is Wi-Fi. Got your little Wi-Fi antenna right there. Move that just a little bit up. Let's take a look at the laser head. Of course, you've got your screen. The screen is magnetic. Here's your focusing block. Nice piece of solid aluminum. Been anodized. Let's take a look at this laser head. Obviously, this is the most important part of the machine. So this piece right here on the side, this is what sets the your height. You can see this little button right here. That's going to go down whenever it hits. It knows exactly where the height position is. So it's auto focusing, and that's how it does it, is with this little switch. It's also got a little laser right here for aligning this. Once you set this up in Lightburn, it knows you set up exactly the offset from where the cutting laser is to where this laser, this is like a crosshair laser that's going to shine down on your work. And whenever you set the corner or wherever the center of your work, wherever you want the cut to start, or where you want the laser to be positioned at, you set this point right here that's easily seen from the crosshairs, and then whenever you start the cut, it'll move over and position the cut laser right there. Hopefully that all made sense. Very nice laser head. So I'm going to go ahead and get what I need, and I'm going to get this thing put together, and I'm going to time lapse it, and we're going to just in case you're not clear on the auto focusing, this right here has a stepper motor. This Z-axis has its own stepper motor. So whenever you've got the laser head in here, it will turn this up and down as needed to focus that laser. Get it exactly at the right depth before it starts cutting. So you don't have to manually set it. And I've actually forgot to do that, I don't know how many times. Sometimes I was lucky enough that it was within range to where it still did a good job, and sometimes it was up way too high and it wasn't engraving or cutting properly. So it's nice to be able to know that you got a machine that'll automatically do that every time that you're getting ready to either engrave or cut. So anyway, let me get this thing put together, and we'll get this thing fired up. Alright guys, so I've got this corner tight on the shaft. I've got the gantry installed and tight. And just a tip, whenever you put this together, leave everything loose. Get your screws almost all the way in, maybe half a turn from being tight on all the corners, and then once all the screws are in, then go and tighten them all up the rest of the way. That's going to be your best bet. All the screws went in perfect, but to make sure it's going to turn out as square as possible and you're not going to have to fight any screws that might be just slightly off, put everything in loose. That goes for anything mechanical that you're bolting together. So I've got the gantry installed and tight. I've got the screws here for the cover installed. I've got the coupling on this side tight. This side's loose. The gantry's all the way to the back. I'm just going to take my finger in the middle of the gantry, and I'm going to push it until that coupling in there comes around to where I can get on it with my Allen wrench. And I'm just going to tighten that coupling up right there, and then the shaft will be tight and good to go. And there we go. So now this thing is almost put together. There's a limit switch right here that we're going to bolt on. It goes in right here, and then this thing will pretty much be ready to give a test run. All right, so to put the limit switch in, I just tilted it up on its side, and there's where the limit switch goes. And I plugged the wires in first, and I used the wires to kind of hold onto the switch and maneuver it around, so it kind of made it really easy. So now let's get the laser head. Okay, so I had to take the gantry cover back off because I didn't realize that the connectors for this harness right here are inside here. So keep that in mind. Don't bolt this down until you get this connected up right here. Okay, so just a quick overview. This probably took me about 20 minutes. I did not read the instructions before I started. There was a little bit I had to take off. I had to take this cover back off because the connector actually goes in there and it connects inside. So that was my fault. Just a couple tips. Leave everything loose until it's all together, then tighten it all up. The laser head, when you put it on, make sure that these screws are turned about as far out as they'll go, because I was having a hard time getting it on there, and I realized that it doesn't take a whole lot of engagement before it restricts the dovetail that this slides down into. Of course, you got this connector here that goes down to the crosshair laser and the autofocus button, and then you got this connector for the laser head itself. And the cable management is perfect. You're not going to have to worry about your wiring falling down onto your work piece. That was one thing with the Atom Stack. I had to actually design some 3D printed adapters that would incorporate a drag chain to keep the wires managed. Not going to have to worry about doing that with this laser. This is a very well designed laser, it appears. So just to give you an idea of what it says here on the laser head itself. Hopefully you can read that. I'll just hold it there so that you can kind of read the specs of the laser. Let's see. It tells you to put it all together, then through this hole you put the drive shaft. I did a little bit differently. I mean, you can do it like that, probably work just fine. I went ahead and coupled it up and into this before I slid it in. I think that'd probably make it a little bit easier. I like the fact that it comes with a thumb drive for this USB port for your files instead of a SD card. I think that's a lot better setup. So what you got here on the side, you got a Type C USB, you got the HDMI, which is for the display, of course your power connector, your output here, that I believe is going to be for the air assist. Now the air assist on this is actually automatically controlled. Of course you got a knob where you can manually control it, but if you set it up in Lightburn, when the engraving or the cutting starts, it kicks the air assist on automatically. When it's over, it kicks the air assist off. And that's nice, because there was times that I forgot to turn the air assist on. I got the burn started, I left, I come back, I realized there's a bunch of charring around the edges. I turned the air assist on, and then for the remainder of the engraving, it was a nice clean engrave. So it's nice that you can now have a system that controls the air assist through Lightburn. So let me get this thing powered up, and we're going to give it a test run. Alright, so, and again, you got your fixed focus measuring tool, which is the nicest one that I've had in any of the laser engravers I've had. That's pretty sweet. I think I mentioned I like the fact that it came with a thumb drive instead of just a SD card. I've got this thing powered up. I do not have it turned on yet. First thing you notice is, even though I've got power to it, the air assist doesn't come on whenever you turn the knob. That's because the machine controls it. So I'm going to hit the on-off button. You're going to see for the first time, as I am, how it boots up. Okay, let's just go ahead and go into settings. See what all we got here. Of course, English. It's got this mode, fast, standard, and fine. I'm not exactly sure when you would use that. Let's see what it says here. This option is the engraving mode selection. Each mode corresponds to different engraving speed and acceleration. Please switch the mode according to the actual needs. Tilt detection. If you do tilt this, it will shut off. So that's a safety feature. Flame detection. If it senses a fire, it will shut down instead of continuing on. And you can turn those on and off. Now let's go to the next page. Autofocus is on. It does have the resume engraving feature. So if you're in the middle of mainly a complex engraving, let's say you're an hour or 2 or 3 into an engraving and you lose power, this has the auto resume feature. So whenever you turn it back on, you have the option to go ahead and resume where it left off. touch sound you can turn on and off. Auxiliary positioning, turn that on and off. And then about. Engraving machine. It is a 410 by 410 millimeter engraving area. And it's got the current firmware, as you can see there, May 10th, 2023. Anyway, let's give this thing a shot. Alright guys, so I've got a file loaded up in here. I've got a piece of bamboo cutting board that we're going to engrave to. I've got the machine on. We're going to hit engrave. It's my 737 logo that we're going to do. The fan that you're hearing is the fan on the laser itself, right here. I'm going to manually put the laser in the corner of the cutting board. I'm not going to use these crosshairs yet. I don't have that set up in Lightburn. So we're going to hit frame. And what I like about this so far is that the framing process is a lot faster than my atom stack is. So I'm going to go ahead and hit, this will continue to frame until you hit close on the screen. So I'm going to hit close, and then it goes ahead and repositions itself back in the corner. You can nudge it side to side. You know, if you needed to bump it up or down a little bit, then you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit the play. Look how fast that thing's going. I've got it going at 6,000 millimeters per minute. %. On 9. Wow, that's crazy. So whenever you hit back, it'll shut the fan off to the laser head, and obviously shuts the air assist off. Now remember, this was at 6,000 millimeters per minute. That is wild. That's the fastest engrave I've ever done. These little marks right there were already there on the board. So let's do another one. Alright, so we're going to do one more burn on this video. This is going to be of a sugar skull. This is on a piece of bamboo cutting board, 6 inches wide, 8.5 inches long, and we will do a demonstration of the autofocus. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just line this up on the corner just by hand. First, let me go ahead and I'm going to select the sugar skull glass at 6,000 millimeters per minute. You can see through the window the laser dot. I'm going to use that there. Make sure my board's straight. Alright. I'm going to hit frame. Now the nice thing I like about this machine, if I haven't said it already, is how fast the framing process is. My other laser is a lot slower, so you're sitting here for a long time just waiting to verify that the framing is correct. And this will continue to frame until you hit close right here. So I like that feature too. So I'm happy with the framing. I'm going to hit close. It'll stop framing, then it goes back to its originating point that you had it. I'm going to hit sugar skull. It says auto focusing. Let me zoom in so you can see the procedure. Goes down, it goes to the center of your framing parameters, and it moves the z-axis up and down. Whenever it's happy with the framing, or with the autofocus, then it starts to burn. It just kicked the air assist on. As soon as the laser came on and started burning, the air assist kicked on. Alright, so the burn just finished. Now I don't know if you can see the depth of this. This is on bamboo. But this was at 6,000 millimeters per minute. Very nice burn. This is a very awesome laser engraver. This does beat my atom stack. Anyway, the next, this video is already getting too long, so I've got to cut it down, or cut it off. But now this thing's supposed to be able to cut 30 millimeters of wood, and we're going to give that a try. That's supposed to be in a single pass, and we're going to give that a try in the next video, and we're going to just see what this thing's capable of. But for this video, this is pretty much it. So far, I like it. It's got the air assist that comes on when the burn starts. It's got the autofocus, so you don't have to worry about forgetting to set your focus. Of course, you can manually focus it too. And yeah, it's got the thumb drive instead of the micro SD, which I like. Now it's got a lock here. You can turn that off. That way, if you got little kids and you're worried about them turning it on and starting an engrave or a burn and accidentally setting something on fire, then you can keep that locked and you don't have to worry about it. I've got older kids, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'll have that always turned on. But yeah, so far, this is a great machine. So I'm looking very forward to getting this hooked up to Lightburn and seeing what all it can actually do compared to my atom stack. Another thing I'd like to say about this is that it has what they call a sync feature, and what that does is whenever you want to cut something and you've cut down to a certain depth, the Z-axis, since this has the stepper motor on the Z-axis, it will actually lower the laser a little bit for the next pass, then it'll lower it again for the next pass, and it'll do that to get you up to 30% more cut depth on whatever you're cutting. So that's a pretty cool feature to have, and I just wanted to mention that. Alright guys, you also have a real nice phone app that you can pick from. So we're going to connect to the laser, and you got photo you can pick from, resources, just shapes, drawing. As you can see, I've been drawing right there. We got the eraser pulled up. You can erase whatever you've drawn. Select the brush. There's little line, no bigger line, and bigger line. But your local files is what's going to be stored on the thumb drive that's plugged into the unit. And as soon as you pick one, we'll just pick this one. We're going to hit confirm. The control display pops up, and you can nudge. If you watch the laser, every time I tap it, it'll nudge 1 millimeter. If I select 10 millimeter, every time you tap it, it'll nudge it 10 millimeters. Same with 50 millimeters. You can frame, move to center, set as center, set as corner. You can hit home, and when you're ready, you just hit start, and then your image will start burning. So, real nice little phone app. As soon as you back out of it, the fan dies, and you're back to square one. Anyway, just wanted to show the phone app real quick, and that's about it for this laser. This is a really impressive laser. 36 watts, air assist, automatic air assist, automatic focus, and they advertise up to 54,000 millimeters per second. Now, I don't know what you're burning at that speed, but it's at least capable of those speeds. And I was burning this image at 6,000 without a problem at all. So this was the image that I burned at 6,000, and it cut it pretty deep. This is bamboo, and it cut it pretty deep for moving at 6,000 millimeters per second. Anyway, we're done. You guys take care.